views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of alltalkradio.net.
Wow, you're just waking up? It's the afternoon. Well, you're in luck. We've got a show for you. Now here's your hosts, Tiffany Masters and Michael Sartain.
Good morning, everyone. Hello, and what was that about?
I have had a lot of caffeine today. Let's go.
And I had an Adderall this morning writing, so watch out, everyone. Today is going to be definitely interesting. I mixed Adderall and coffee. Woo! I could have ran here. You know, I've been trying to lose weight for this whole, October season of events, and, I should have gone to see that Sydney Wilson dude as pumped up as I am right now. And that's probably where you're going after this.
Right after this.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Last week we had a very interesting show where we were touching on sex, dating, and we always get into social media.
The history of sex. We're talking about the history of marriage, monogamy, polygamy, and evolutionary psychology. We talked about all that last week.
And you did a great blog. What was this about the cheesy joke? You could go to michaelsartain.com. And he makes fun of me.
So I didn't make fun of her.
And he said that I had a cheesy sex joke.
No, what I said was that the Sumerians were the first people to create language. And she goes, is that where oral came from? That was her joke.
Well.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway. But today we've got a special caller that is going to be coming in and educating both Michael and I and agreeing with you a lot of things. I've gone through many of y'all's letters, and I will be hitting on a lot of the questions and concerns that, men and sex, choosing younger women, women gaining weight, women not feeling very confident to be, in sex today, and pretty much we're going to go through the evolutionary psychology, and I'm going to make you all feel better today about yourself, your self-confidence, your sex life, your relationships, and overall your life. You will see. Just stick with me for this hour because we have a special program that'll be going over that.
I want to feel better about myself. Nobody cares about me feeling better about myself. It's like, no, older women and younger men and blah, blah, blah. What about me? I'm about done 37 years old.
Yes, Sunday night, which we're going to touch on his birthday later, but Sunday he'll be celebrating over at Bank Nightclub, and you're collecting food cans, too.
Yes. So here's how it's going to work. Troops, listen, we're going to anything but clothes at Foundation Room first, 8 o'clock, and wear something. You just
anything
don't wear
but clothes.
anything but clothes. And then we're going to leave there. I'm probably going to leave around 9:30, 10. And then I'm going to Bellagio, and we're all going to walk into Bank between 11 and 12. There should be, the plan is right now to have large donation barrels from 3square.org to receive canned food items because we are completely out of cans. Last week was the first week that I've been to College Park Baptist Church food pantry, and there was not a single canned food there. So we need your help. If you can't make it to Bank, I don't care. Just come Tuesday and give us the cans there. We would appreciate that. We desperately need more cans. So you're supporting 3square.org, and you're more specifically supporting the College Park Baptist Church Food Pantry, which is at 2101 East Owens Avenue, Las Vegas, Nevada, and it is in the poorest zip code in Clark County. So please come on out there and support us.
And you can volunteer. You can get with us, and we can help
every
give out some food.
Every Tuesday.
Today's show is we've got some shocking things to talk about. So it's definitely rated 18 and up. Please, adults only. I'm really excited to have this special guest that's coming on here in about 5 minutes. I'm going to be touching on why do women like their hair pulled? Why do we have sex doggy style? And 50,000 years of sexual DNA. And give you some information about some speakeasies for couples. It doesn't always have to be that green door room. But I'm fascinated with all of this right now. I don't know if you all have been watching or reading any of my posts or articles of the teaser for my book, 50 Shades of Masters, Dating a Dom. And I'm really curious, why is it during Halloween season, it's appropriate, it's accepted. And so we're going to dive into that and also give you an update of a lot of erotic events that I'll be hosting all month long. It was ending at this month on the 30th and the 31st, going to the House of Blues for the 80s party for Halloween night. And then we've got the Fetish and Fantasy Ball.
Yes, I will be on the red carpet for the Fetish and Fantasy Ball.
So we're going to touch on some more events at the very end here. But first, we're going to get you excited and confident enough to go to these events wearing these appropriate costumes for such things like the Fetish and Fantasy Ball, and to get you very excited into my big, ultra, mega event, October 21st, to make it a 50 Shades theme party for all of you October birthdays out there. Jeff Beecher from Beecher's Madhouse will be opening on Tuesday night, which he hasn't done, on a Tuesday night to do a private event for us. Well, it's not so private. We're opening to the public that night to start off their Tuesdays, and he's giving us complimentary rooms, and I've got gift bags. So you can go upstairs and get naughty with me putting our costumes on of 50 Shades of Grey, and then we'll all go down together and celebrate and see some special shows. And you birthday girls and boys, I've got some gift bags for you. So, and I'll just give you this hint. It's a little in the theme of things.
Something that you can hit somebody with, apparently.
I mean that.
Or tie someone up.
That's
Whatever.
nice. Have you been tied up before?
Maybe. I will neither confirm nor deny.
So why wouldn't you not come out and say yes or no?
Huh?
Interesting. I was on these couples. They're all like, yeah, we're big swingers, this and that. And then if you post it, take it down right now. I don't have sex. I'm a virgin.
I have been tied up before, yes.
Did you like it?
Yeah. It was fun.
Now, were you just tied up as the sexy thing? I've done that, but I haven't been, like, tied up.
No, I could get out, yeah. I was stronger than it was fake handcuffs. I could have broken them if I tried hard enough.
If you tried.
Yeah, they weren't like steel handcuffs or anything.
Why is it so bad? I'm really enjoying writing 50 Shades of Masters. I have never had such an amazing amount of people writing me saying, when is the next thing coming out? What is she going to do? What's he going to do to her? Like, is he going to do this week? Or is she going to, take it there this week? And how are they going to do it? I love it.
Is she going to take it there this week?
Well, I had a meeting with, I can't say what country because I don't want to get her in trouble, but she's royalty in that country, and we had a meeting the other day, and she's wanting me to go to the country and teach a sex class like we do here. And the reason for this is she wants to use the oils and the toys and stuff to help keep marriages and relationships together because they're bored of each other. And in that country, they're not allowed to sell sex toys.
Wow.
In like public stores or to even really speak about that. So they're going to be using essential oils in classes to kind of incorporate that together. I think that's very...
Is this the country of Utah?
Yeah, right. What is up with... You know what? And I knew a Muslim once that she had a... Is it a burqa? Is that what the thing is?
I don't know specifically.
They hide...
Yeah.
They hide...
Right, yeah.
Their religion hides everything. But she told me they have got down. They have done wilder sex than I have ever seen. I would think of. I thought it was abuse at first, but now that I'm writing this book, I'm thinking, how do I meet one of those?
Oh, boy.
And do I come out of the closet? Well, I'm coming out of the pages, and I'll leave the imagination up to you readers to see if it's true or not.
Okay.
All
well,
right.
I'm excited. So I'm interested in answering some of these questions that you have here about, especially about 50,000 years and all that other stuff.
Oh, it's coming up.
Yep.
Do we have a caller yet? Should be coming in here any moment. I'm really interested in these speakeasies. The Green Door is great, and the Rooster and all that. If you don't know what they are, it's a place where you can go be a voyeur, or you can go get tied up, or they'll have like these suspension things, or medical rooms. Everything you see in porn, they've probably shot in there.
Wow.
Right?
Wow. Well, I mean
my bedroom's boring. Plus, the two Yorkies at the end of the bed isn't very... But
yeah,
have you ever been in one?
No, I've never been to anything like that.
Wait, let's make it a bucket list and grab a group of people. Just we could go in and
we
peek.
could do voyeur stuff. All right, I will bring the Purell with us.
It smells like it. It smells like formaldehyde.
Okay,
but
good.
there are some houses that are on your block and you don't even know about it, where you can go in and you can experience these types of things. And George is like, yep.
Yeah,
Yes,
I've
George?
actually been to a couple of those.
Really?
Yeah, down at the other end of town, there's a huge mansion, and inside they have inside of there, they have a video place, a whole movie theater. They've got a disco room. And all the rooms got themes to them. And yeah, I've been to a couple of these things.
The swingers ball. I can't remember what it's called specifically.
Fetish and Fantasy?
No, it's not Fetish and Fantasy.
Trust me,
but it's a swingers convention that comes here once a year, and they
Lifestyles convention. It is.
They had an event at the Rumor Hotel, and my buddy told me about some wild kinky stuff that they did just outside in the little courtyard.
Well, I'm going back to 1999 when I moved here. It was very known to go to the Hard Rock or the Venetian, and
dorm days.
Well, that
dorm days at the Hard Rock.
Yes, I was.
It's like nothing you have ever experienced.
That is exactly what we're doing on October 21st, everyone. This is at Jeff Beecher's, and MGM has given us up to 100 rooms. We're going to be doing, because Jeff Beecher and I used to be at Hard Rock years ago, and then do a dorm days. I want a big suite and do like a BDSM party in there. I just want my friends and girls, if you're out there, and guys, if you want to do a black and white photo shoot with me to do some kind of like really hot erotic, with the memes or whatever. Thanks for your letters. I got you. And anybody else, let me know. I think it's exciting. A lot of like groups said they've never been to Beecher's because they worked Thursday through whatever.
Right, yeah.
So we've got a great turnout that's going to happen that night. And I think I'm going in black bondage. That's going to be my thing. We've got a caller. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. How are you?
Hi, there's our guest. How are you doing?
Having a great day.
Great, I bet. Well, you've been listening to Michael's shows, and you were saying that you were agreeing on what he was saying about the evolution of sex. And I was wanting you to elaborate a little bit more with each other, because you had mentioned 50,000 years of sexual DNA, because I said, why is it that women sometimes, well, not sometimes, like rough sex?
Totally. I think a lot of my experience from it, I was asking myself the same questions, like, where does this come from? Is this something new? Is this something old? Sexual perversions, are these something we're coming up with, or is this something we're kind of unbearing? And you guys were discussing last week, I think, a lot of really interesting things that kind of, I think are just really interesting. At one point I bought a house, and the house had a duck pond at it. And this duck pond, the previous owner had collected all these different species of ducks. And we would sit out there and watch the ducks, and we could not believe the crazy duck sex that was going on. And we were just mouths hanging open of rough sex, things you would not imagine being duck.
Have you ever seen a duck?
I've heard of this, yeah.
Have you seen a duck have sex?
No, I have not seen it, but I've actually heard about it. I can't remember which book I read that was actually talking about certain types of birds that were like that. But like the actual word, when we say something is perversion, it is cultural. Our culture, if it doesn't accept a certain thing, then we call it a perversion. But who is to say that what we say is a perversion now wasn't naturally selected for by humans?
What was your ducks like? Was she quacking up?
Yeah, oh gosh, that's good.
Sorry, I'm cheesy.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it kind of broadened the question for me. Like, is this human behavior, or is this pre-human behavior? Is this, if humans didn't exist, would there be this kind of forcible sex? With homosexuality like occurs in nature beyond humanity. Where is that coming from? What does that mean? What is it for? I mean, evolutionarily, biology.
What did the ducks do differently? Is it like the doggy style and they're ducks? I'm trying to picture two ducks having sex.
No, like a male duck. Like a male duck that actually is the prettier duck usually of the two. Like in peacocks, the pretty peacock
the peahen,
is male.
Yeah,
but anyway,
male.
It's like this pretty male mallard will come up and grab a female mallard like by the back of the neck and force her under the water while he's, just completely taking her, crazy. And you're sitting there, you're like, oh my gosh, is he killing her? It's like, no, he's having sex with her. So, pretty crazy.
Tiffany's smiling. She didn't know whether to be offended or be extremely happy for the ducks.
Yeah, and it's like, is something going wrong? And it's like, apparently not. Like, this is completely the way they go. There are other species like insects that they've got to sneak up. The male has got to sneak up on the female from behind and take her from behind. Why? Because she'll murder him if he doesn't. She'll try to rip his head off if he doesn't approach her from behind, like in a surprise kind of fashion. So, I mean, just I would think like bizarre to what our society, like you were saying, like socially supplied beliefs about these things would be like, oh my gosh, this is really unnatural. And just because something's natural doesn't mean necessarily we should condone it or accept it. Obviously, we've become civilized and had discussion on these things, but you look at nature and what's naturally occurring, and even in human history, nature, pretty crazy.
So how far back does this go, and why is it that is that why it's doggy style then, I guess, right? I knew I was going to get that answer today. It's prehistoric, so we didn't claw somebody's eyes out.
Well, I mean, I think, I'm always try to stay open on stuff like that because, we've got science. But, we don't know. We weren't there. But, I mean, there's a recent book, and it is controversial, called The Natural History of Rape that, goes over the first 100,000 years of humanity and what this looked like. And it sure as hell didn't look like conventional marriage and courting. I mean, much more even talking. And I think you guys were touching on that last week.
Yeah, I mean, there was copulation before there was language. So how did that happen? We didn't have dates and there were no cars. So that's it's a tough thing for a lot of people to understand. But like when you think probably the first 100 million instances of a sexual act amongst the human species was probably forcible sex, because there was no speaking, there was no talking, there was people killing. One guy would kill all the males in another tribe and then take the women. That's just how the species, was procreating originally. That's how it worked.
Interesting. So this stems back to our DNA. Is that why we like having our hair pulled, possibly, and rougher sex?
This is a very dangerous conversation to have.
Yes, and that's why we're here today.
Yeah. This is the kind of conversation where you can. I have a good friend. His name is Dr. Satoshi Kanazawa. He wrote the book called Why Beautiful People Have More Daughters. And he got in a lot of trouble because of that book and some other stuff that he writes. He writes stuff about evolutionary psychology. A lot of the things that you find out, the science points out in evolutionary psychology, is so counter to what our culture wants to believe about relationships and sex that a lot of people, a lot of feminists specifically, were very upset with this book.
However, look at 50 Shades of Grey. It sold a copy per second with all these little housewives at home and school marms and everyone. They liked that. Yeah, it turned them on. So I'm wondering, is it from your DNA?
Yes. The answer is yes. And again, that's offensive to people. The idea, the fact that that people are like this. But whether or not it's from your DNA, I don't think it's from society. I definitely don't think it's from society. I think behavioral psychologists, guys like B.F. Skinner, have made they had a belief in psychology that you were born a blank slate, and the reason why women are feminine and men are masculine is because they were born that way and society makes us that way. That is simply not the truth. It's almost like saying if you didn't see advertisements for food, you'd stop being hungry, which is of course ridiculous. Behavioral psychologists believe that your environment makes up for everything, but yet my brother and I could not be more different, and we grew up in the same shared environment. It is genetics that have a lot, not everything, probably around 50% to do with how you end up in the things that you like. So yes, genetics play a larger role for some people. But hey, let me tell you something. Not every woman wants their hair pulled. Let me tell you.
I know.
From
I'm
personal
not
experience.
saying that.
Right.
I'm into the whole erotic thing right now, and I'm talking about the books that I'm writing and reading, and seeing that it's being more accepted, especially in the month of Halloween. People are dressing up like this more and getting into it more.
I agree.
And the movie's coming out.
What I'm saying is I agree with you. More women than you think. More women than men think.
So it's society. It's society that closes them up.
Yes. I believe, yeah, for sure. But I mean, that's the price you pay because, we have a social contract with our society where in exchange for us acting more civilized, we get protection and roads and technology and all these other things. Instead of acting on our baser urges. So it's the difference between what is and what ought. I'm never, you notice on this show, I never talk about what ought to be. I only talk about what is. That's why we talk about evolutionary psychology.
I am saying what ought to be this October, and it's to come out of the closet, y'all, and wear that leather, wear that stockings. October 10th, we've got some stockings and a singles party that we're doing over at Gold Lounge, and I will be giving them out to the first 50 women and talking to everyone about open up, free yourself. With the sex part in the society, what do you like? Are women attracted to? What am I saying? Do you think society has this? And I'm asking you, caller.
Yeah.
Is there a certain type of women? What can I ask here? How can I say this and be politically correct before he gets mad?
Hey, I'm not the politically correct police.
All right,
Trust me.
You go back and you see art, and women are fuller figured. Okay. Now, if it's in the DNA and men were into that, is it still stemming in their DNA, do you think? Your opinion, because you go to these, you're into this lifestyle, and I'd like to know a little bit more about that. Getting older or a little bit more firm or not?
Yeah. You know, I really like what Michael put on the table there about, it's basically like a nature and nurture thing. You know, where do these tendencies come from? And also earlier you were mentioning, you know, there's so many, you know, culture's kind of gotten uptight about a lot of these things even being discussed, which I think is unfortunate because, you know, that whole light being the most powerful disinfectant out there, you know, to understand these things and be able to ask the question without being ostracized is important. But yeah, nature and nurture, and even you mentioned Blank Slate, like a great book by Steven Pinker, where for the last 50 years, pretty much nature has kind of won that. Nurture has more won that argument. You know, the family values, how you were raised, where you were born. Pinker makes a pretty compelling argument in there that really that has nothing to do with it. Like you were saying, like was it your brother that has really different tendencies than you, and you know, even though you might have been raised the same.
Yeah, I think the book you're referring to, Steven Pinker, by the way, is a cognitive psychologist. The man is a genius. It's funny, if you go right now to Chipotle, there's an excerpt from Steven Pinker's book that's on the bags that they're giving out now, because this guy he's a fantastic educator when it comes to cognitive psychology. In one of his books, I believe it's How the Mind Works, he talks about how heredity is 50% of it, 5% of it is parenting, and 45% of it is shared environment, which is something that parents don't like to hear, but it is absolutely true. I'm reading the book right now, The Hiltons, about Conrad Hilton raising his first two sons, Nikki and Barron, and how they could not be more possibly different, yet they were raised under the same roof. There's also studies that the golden goose in psychology, for anybody or even biology, is when you have twins, when you have monozygotic twins who are actually raised in different environments. Well, it turns out that when you raise them in different environments, they still tend to have the same tendencies. They still tend to laugh the same way. They walk with the same gait. They have the same preferences to a large extent, not completely, but around 50%. So we know from that genetics has more to do with it than we think. You know, we in our Constitution it says all men were created equal, right? They were endowed inalienable rights by a creator. So we like to think of everyone being equal. We are equal. We're just different. We're just different, and our genetics make us different. And what we can't, as behavioral psychologists believe, we can't just believe what they believe, which is the idea that we are all just born and we can all be exactly the same. I can never listen. I am 6'1", and I can never play small forward in the NBA. Sorry, I'm just not tall enough, and there's nothing I can do about it, and that's fine. That's okay. It's just we're all different, and I have different strengths, and LeBron James has different strengths. Like it just genetics has a lot to do with it, and so and there's the same thing in the workout community. You see these guys who are just like big jack. They're called mesomorphs, guys who naturally put on muscle really well. There's endomorphs, ectomorphs, and mesomorphs. They're different physical. It's called constitutional psychology, and some people are genetically in better shape. Some people, have to work more at it. But we get these pills and these supplements sold to us online, and we're supposed to believe that this one pill is going to change our lives. And we've been fed something because of the belief that we think, well, all I got to do is go to the gym just like this next guy, and I'm going to look like him. And no, it doesn't work like that. Genetics play a large part to do with your mind as well as your body.
That's the DNA, right?
Yes.
Okay. So back then,
maybe mapping back to what you said. And Mike, you mentioned that 45% that's kind of like culturally influenced, societally influenced.
shared
environment, exactly. Yeah, so it actually has to do with your peers, the guys that you grow up with.
And that's my point right now with Halloween.
Like how we find why one person finds something sexy and another person might not. There was a time, obviously, when just a few hundred years ago, where very fat women, very overweight women these were the beautiful people in society. They were the ones that made it into all the paintings. Nowadays, who makes it on the magazine covers? The thinnest, wafiest, tallest, almost on the verge of starvation usually. And this is a culturally supplied cue, as to what is sexy, what is attractive, what is desirable. And it's amazing how we shape that and we come to these agreements,
So would you agree that a lot of men,
culture.
Would you agree that a lot of men still like a voluptuous woman or a shorter woman that's not so tall? It's a DNA thing, and maybe they're just like, maybe they're freaks in the sheets, but out in public they want the skinny girl next to them because of what society wants to see them with. But if they go into, let's say, one of those speakeasy swingers things, maybe they're going to go over and be satisfied for once and be with somebody they want to be. Is it still in their DNA, is what I'm asking, or has society really changed it that much?
Society.
I think Michael nailed it, where it's a combination, it's an array. I mean, personally, I like to think that sexual attraction is about energy. And, it doesn't matter how overweight a woman or a male is. If they have the energy that I'm sexy and I'm free in that, and they walk into the club or the restaurant and that energy is blowing in with them, I mean, there are all kinds of men that will find them attractive and mates.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, obviously,
you say that
obviously,
too,
I mean,
about the confidence when you walk around.
Some people agree that a Ferrari is more sexy looking on someone than a Kia right now. It would be a social cue, socially supplied cue, indicator of sexuality. But for me, it's all about energy. I mean, don't we all know what it's like to date someone that's aesthetically attractive, but that you have zero chemical connection with,
Yes, that may or may not have happened to me once or a million times in Las Vegas. There's one other part to this, and I believe it was Steven Pinker who brought this up. There was a study where they surveyed college students about what men thought men should look like, what men thought was the most attractive body type for men, what women thought the most attractive body type was for women, and then the opposite, what women thought the most attractive body type for a man was, and what men thought the best attractive body type for a woman was. And what they found was that women, their guess was much skinnier than what men liked, and men thought that they should be way more beastly and muscular than what women liked. What women liked were guys like what's the soccer player for the Galaxy, Bingham, or what? Beckham, David Beckham.
Bend him over, Beckham.
They liked women thought guys like Beckham or Justin Timberlake, who were medium build but that had a six pack. They thought that was the most attractive, whereas men thought it was more like these ferocious looking fitness models. They thought that was what was more
like
attractive.
Phil Heath, not. No offense, Phil.
I love that. It's so interesting to me, and I saw one the other day, and this kind of maps back to your Tinder discussion on what the type of picture that a male found attractive looking at a female, and the types of pictures that females more often than not, kind of like in a hot or not kind of a mode, found males attractive. And the picture that males found most attractive was just a selfie in the mirror of a female. But females, by and large, they like seeing, more often than not, they like seeing a male with a pet, with a dog, or with a cat,
just
or
not
with
a
some
fish.
type of animal. That
That's
ranks
funny.
higher than any other type of picture you could put up.
You know what's breaking the stereotype a little bit? So before it was the magazines telling us what it's attractive, but now Instagram has become a voting machine. And so now we see what people actually find attractive. Like it's
so true.
Inarguable when you see a girl who has a full figure and like a really awesome body, and there's a lot of them. Those are the girls who are winning on Instagram right now, the ones that are in really good shape, and they're getting 40,000 likes on one post. The magazines cannot dictate to us what we're supposed to think is attractive. I think Gwyneth Paltrow is too skinny, and I never found her that attractive. I think she's a really good actress. But like that, I like Jessica Biel, and I love Scarlett Johansson. I like the girls that are curvy like that. So I mean, it's just. But you know what? When I watch these Hollywood pictures, I'm like, apparently what I like must not be what other people like. And then when I see on Instagram, I'm like, nope, they agree with me. This is what they like. So I think Instagram as sort of a voting machine for what it is. Then
also too, those guys are trying to get attention on those. I like you, and I'll comment, and give me attention, give me attention. As a woman, I know, okay, if I put up a photo of me in some busty type of an outfit, and I know when guys are commenting.
Are you saying that that men like boobs? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Let me go ahead and tell you
you'll get more likes or whatever.
Let me go ahead and tell you
and
that hasn't changed. That hasn't
just
changed in
wanting your
150,000
attention
years.
like that. So I don't know. Why do you think it is that this month is more accepted? I have seen, like even today, I just did a social media post running down with the events of the sexy stockings and wearing anything but clothes on Sunday night at the Foundation Room of all places. And it's just getting sexier and sexier and sexier and sexier. But they won't do this in other times. Now it's going into November where we're doing a, what's that party? Rocky Horror.
Oh, I didn't even
Because
know.
I've never seen it.
Oh, you've never seen the Rocky Horror
I haven't,
pictures?
so I said it's my bucket list.
no.
Yeah. But
A lot of fun.
what is it about, okay, so it comes to society, and I'm asking you because you're very involved in, the Halloween parties and all every year, and you're in that community. Do you find that you get more people in the month of October than usual?
Do you find that you what?
Do you find that you get more people coming to your events in October and be a part of your lifestyle in the month of October?
Well, I mean, I think we're going into the season where it's summer's all about, I think, the pools, cookouts and stuff like that. But now you're getting into the real event season, the big holidays.
So why is
mean,
BDSM so popular
Well,
during this month?
It's context, right? So you don't. Human beings need context for everything they do, right? You don't wear a formal gown to Chipotle in the mall, right? And you don't. People don't want to eat with their friends in a bathroom, like because even though like logistically,
I do.
even though logistically it makes
you break the rules.
It makes no difference logistically to do that. People don't want because they want context. As soon as you put a woman anywhere near, if you put a woman in a bikini out on the street, it looks odd. You put a woman anywhere near any kind of water whatsoever, even her own bathtub, then it's perfectly acceptable that she's wearing that. If you see a woman in a bikini outside, it's fine, but the same body parts are covered with bra and panties, and then it's unacceptable because that's her underwear. So the thing is, we need context. The context in October is the idea of Halloween, which is the eve before Saints Day, which is November 1st. And so that night before, people go out and act crazy. It actually has to do with, the dead coming back and stuff like that. Well, we've taken it and turned it into Playboy
Sex.
parties. Right, we have. We've taken one segment of that, and then we've taken it
And
even
we've
further.
also taken it 30 days worth.
Right. And so women don't want to be judged, and on that day we've said, hey, you know what? You won't be judged
You
for
just
what you
nailed
wear.
it. This is what I've been fishing for from these two men. He just nailed it. This is the month that you will not be judged.
Yeah, but if you live in the 702, the judgment was left. You left the
That's
judgment
true.
back in Barstow because nobody has any room to judge anybody here for anything.
So we're finding if you've got the self-confidence and wear it.
Yeah, Vegas has very little bottom to it. You can get away with tacky here on any day of the week. But these holidays and everything, they're just like great excuses to have fun. I mean, so many of the holidays, we've even lost the origin of what the hell the holiday was even about.
Oh, exactly. Like, does anyone know that Cinco de Mayo has to do with the one city of Pueblo defending, against the Spanish? Nobody. They think it's Mexican
Do they even
Independence
know
Day.
what day it falls on?
It's a great night to drink. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just drink. Like I never understood that. The biggest Cinco de Mayo thing I've ever seen was in like Georgia. I'm like, there are no Mexicans here. I don't understand. How is this happening? Yeah, you're exactly right. We've completely lost the context for what a lot of our festivals come from. We have during Easter, it's the resurrection of Jesus Christ, and we have a bunny and we have eggs. And it's like, we've lost the context. We don't even understand why it is the way that it is. But yeah.
So maybe that's why so many times, and I saw too, there's a lot of things on social media today of the pictures of, hey, it's October. You don't see that for July really, or May, maybe flowers or something, but it doesn't say, yo, hey, oh my God, thank God it's February. I think it's October gives us that openness to say, one, you can dress up, put your clothes back on, leave the pool. Not all of us want to see that. And secondly, it's like the Renaissance Festival, the erotic festivals we have here, the lingerie balls, like everything is in the month of October, besides Halloween.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a sexy month.
Right. You put more clothes back on and start doing stuff inside. Yeah, I mean,
Leather.
you know what else? It's football. It's basketball. Like we just kind of get back. Our whole country just gets back into just doing more crazy activities. Even Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Like all this stuff is in October, and you're right. I mean, I never even really thought of it like that. I think here in Las Vegas, erotic is all the time. Like we just
Not as much though. You'll see, like I'm overloaded with events on the calendar. So bringing it back to sex. Sex, sex, sex. Guys, you're going to have a lot more permission, and we've got a lot more sponsors that are coming out this month that are giving away free gifts and discounts to go to these places to get your Halloween costumes, discounts on the Fetish and Fantasy Ball, so many things. So make sure to come back here every Wednesday to get this information, plus michaelsartain.com, or you can go to Las Vegas Bucket List. This is probably the best month to go to Bucket List. Because we're even doing the haunted
going
tour.
out to what, Bonnie Springs?
Bonnie Springs.
That's right.
We return. I peed my pants there last year.
Yeah. So what happened was there's this like giant Grim Reaper that was hanging up from the ceiling like a little prop, and was it your son or was it? I can't remember who it was.
Teddy.
Oh, Teddy! Somebody jumped inside of it and then grabbed Tiffany's hand while inside, and she screamed so loud it was hilarious.
I peed myself, and it was freezing cold outside in my jeans, and we had people crying. Yeah, it's an amazing month ahead. It'll be listed.
It's pretty
there.
awesome. By the way, if you guys want to go to the Fetish and Fantasy Ball, Jeff Davis is the owner of that entire program, and you can go to HalloweenBall.com and you will find it there. You'll also find the promotional video where you'll see me interviewing crazy-looking people there, and I will be working the red carpet there again this year.
And what are you going to dress this year?
Nope, I'm wearing a suit.
Okay, are you going to dress up for my fetish party?
Yes.
What are you going to wear?
I don't know.
What would you suggest that he wears?
Oh, we're talking about October 21st?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, my goodness.
What do guys wear to these kind of things?
T-shirt and jeans and watch all the girls get naked?
No, I'm asking you. Do they wear like leather or what? What do guys wear to fetish parties? Let's give some insight.
I don't know. I've never been to one.
I'm asking you. Who goes in?
For anything fetish, I mean, you can't you can't go wrong with anything leather. I don't think you'll be in vogue.
But then again, it's like 9.5 weeks. It's a whole. It doesn't have to be so much bondage. Celebrity friends of mine that I know with him, they're all about doing the bondage thing. The celebrities that are coming that night, and so I'm like, yay, we're excited about that. But you could always be. You really want to go right? Go as GQ. Go as that Christian Grey character. Yeah, and bring a whip, and I'll give you my room number.
Christian Grey.
Yeah.
For those of you, Christian Grey is the male lead in the 50 Shades of Grey.
Hot.
Yeah, let's just analyze that real quick. This guy is a 30-something billionaire.
Yeah.
Single with perfect teeth.
And he's in love with one woman who's a virgin, and then it doesn't even hurt when they have sex.
Exactly. So.
They don't have sex? I didn't go all the way through.
No. Like, she loses her virginity to him, right? But it's like painless. Like, she doesn't even, oh, this was fun. I just had a whole bunch. The book is basically like really odd dialogue interspersed with these like almost pornographic scenes over and over again. I've read them all. Like, it's pretty interesting.
You read these?
Yeah, of course.
Dude, I read
everything.
Out of the closet.
I read everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course.
You got to stay up on the cultural,
Yeah.
discussion. You got to know. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Any advice for my middle-aged out there about adventuring into more of a sexual lifestyle to wrap this conversation up with you? Any advice? Are there websites you can go to? Are there more books to read like you had just mentioned? We know that it's in our DNA, so I think we should tap in and stop looking at fucking People magazine and looking within yourself. I really do. And definitely be reading my books.
There you go.
Just a little side note.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, I think it's, I think you've got to open yourself to explore. And each person has a different, thing that they're attracted to, maybe in terms of their own personal exploration. But, kind of like we were saying earlier, society makes so many things off limits to ask the big questions about, So if something's coming up for you to explore or talk about with your mate or your lover, just go there. And I don't know of any one particular website or book that would be great for everybody.
You always have a book, Michael, do you?
Well, I mean, I coached men pretty much for 5.5 years, and I will tell you that Why Women Have Sex by David Buss is such an awesome book, just because I don't know if you know this, Tiffany, but women can be complicated sometimes. They can. Sometimes they can be a slightly bit difficult to deal with. And this book, because it explained to me, like there were times where I was like, I behaved one way with one woman and everything went great. I behaved the exact same way with another woman and she is angry and furious. And I'm like, what's wrong? And I was like, am I doing something wrong and I'm just missing it? And after reading this book, I'm like, oh, women are completely the standard deviation for what turns women on is so great.
I'm just as confused. Some guys want to be the man, and then the other guys sit there and go, "There's the door."
Yeah, but the thing is, we like boobs. Like, it's not that confusing. Like, we like to have sex, and like, oh, the girl shows up and she's naked and wants to have sex. It's not like it's not that confusing with men. There's a little.
That's why I was saying last night. You're like, oh, okay. I was like,
it's not. Sure, I mean, there's different levels of it. But for men, it's not that confusing. For women, oh my God! After you read this book, you'll be like women using sex to manipulate people, women using sex to get better, to get job placement, to get better than their friends because they felt like it was their duty as a wife. The idea of having sex for the idea of sex was like one of the 238 reasons.
If it's that easy to get, do you want it?
Oh, it depends on the girl. Like if I have a,
it depends how many Instagram hits she has.
Right, exactly. Like I'm not like, girl, you only have 50,000 followers. We can't date. I can't be seen in public with you. No, I am kidding. Do not quote that.
You're live, darling.
That was satirical.
All right. Well, now that we're in shallow water, we'll wrap things up here. Thank you so much for calling in and giving us the insight of DNA, because I'm leaving this conversation thinking it's, I shouldn't have to worry about an extra few pounds. It's sex. I don't have to feel like I need to look like a Paris Hilton or a Gwyneth Paltrow. I don't need to skin it up. It's what I like. What's that? Got bass. What's that song? I'm all about the bass. I'm all about the bass. The big booty. And I'm gonna, ladies, let's feel sexy this month. It's my mission to bring us all together and dress as sexy as we want and own it, because your energy, what you put out, is what you're gonna get back. And if you're tired of being single, stop being tired of being single. Get out there and own that shit, and get a whip, and then get some handcuffs, and then take them back and read my books, and I'll give you a how-to.
I think part of the problem is the fear that you're going to be judged, and that's the thing you got to get over. Even myself personally, I get judged by her sometimes because of the photos that I put up. But like, you have to get over the fear of being judged as a woman. Depending, no matter what age you are, that's what's mainly holding people back from doing what it is that they want to do. Because listen, if you go on social media or any kind of marketing, forget social media, any kind of marketing, when you market to one segment, sometimes you alienate yourself from another segment. But the point is, you're not going to meet anybody if you don't market at all. So yeah, I agree. You got to go out there and do stuff.
Hey, thank you so much. You've been listening to all of our programs.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Awesome.
Any pointers for other one of us?
No, I'm excited.
It's great because he's referring back to past episodes.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thanks for calling in today. So what do you think now?
What?
I'm thinking that being a duck, I'm definitely Googling it. I'm Googling the duck thing.
Now, you can find YouTube videos of ducks like sexually assaulting each other. It's not hard.
Are monkeys still like that? They look so loving now.
It depends on what kind of monkey it is. But by the way,
I'd rather be a monkey than a duck.
The amount of this is a kind of an interesting fact. The amount of size difference between the genders in a species has to do with how much the men compete with each other. So, for instance, like baboons are significantly bigger than the females because they kill each other, right? But chimpanzees are not. Chimpanzees are about the same size because they're extremely promiscuous, and the women are not nearly as picky. Men have fought with each other throughout generations. So if you notice, men are like 1.15 times, that's on average, bigger than women. Because that's the reason why. So in a species, there's also the opposite have happened. There's certain species of fish where the women compete, so the women are bigger than the men. So that's essentially where that comes from. But yeah, this is a very dangerous topic to get into, and I'm going to tell you why. Because this is about as politically incorrect as you can get, especially with the domestic abuse stuff that's been out in the news recently. When you make the argument that women like this, and this, the women that don't get very offended, because this is one thing that I've noticed, especially after reading that book, Why Women Have Sex, is that women are just as confused about why women have sex as men are. And there's so many different reasons, and women do these things, and other women will look at them like, you like guys to choke you and pull your hair? Why are you letting men degrade you like that? And they think the only reason why the woman is doing it is because she wants to be degraded. No, that's not why. She likes it. You don't like it, but she likes it, and that's the.
Well, this is what I have to say. This is our show. This is my book I'm writing.
Yes.
And I've written for an adult magazine for 15 years and putting it in some different pages and having fun with this. And I will say, you know, there's, and I will come out and give like, what, you know, like in the back of your neck, it is so like you've got more nerve endings there. A guy in bed, I'm saying, you female advocates, whatever, a guy in bed that's just laying there and just like missionary style, you're a 3-pump chump, dude. Nobody wants you. All right? It's so true.
You know, we're the only
and
mammals.
You're all fucking somebody else besides your wife. Let me tell you that.
We're the only mammals that can make love facing each other.
Oh.
You didn't know that?
No.
You know who I learned that from? My pastor. I did.
Did you also know, they say, I just posted last night too, if you stare in somebody's eyes, somebody stares in your eye for more than 5 seconds, it's either they want to kill you or they want to have sex with you. I wonder if the ducks did that. It's so true. Okay, let's recap some events coming up. We've got October 5th, which starts out at 8 o'clock, where anything but clothes. It's also the country. It's the country people. Welcome Cowboys. That's what we'll say. Welcome Cowboys. We have a huge country event after that. The best country DJ will be performing at Foundation Room this week. I myself, I think I'm going to roll in hay and wear a cowboy hat. How is that for anything but clothes? Because it's a semi-country event. That's going to be amazing. And then I'm going to pluck, you know, so if I've got some straw hanging out my ass or something, you'll know why, and go over to your birthday party over at Bank.
Yes.
And then on the 10th, we've got the Sexy Stockings Singles Mixer. Waking Up in Vegas will be there. Kukubo will be giving away free erotic pieces to the first 50 ladies. And then October 21st.
Is her birthday party.
Well, it's a joint birthday party for
Beaches.
all of our October birthdays.
So it's going to be
it's
you,
not just me. It's all October birthdays in Vegas.
Neil deGrasse Tyson's birthday is October 5th, so my favorite astrophysicist will celebrate his birthday also.
Lots of Libras.
Lots of Libras.
Ding. So make sure to get in touch with us. Beaches Madhouse, October 21st. Thank you so much for listening to us today. Hopefully we're leaving you turned on or more confused, because you've definitely got me confused. 50 Shades is going to be fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to have haters, but when don't I?
Yeah, when don't you? Exactly.
You know the Sexy Indian party? I had Indians try to shut down my event last year.
I remember
And, you ready? Remember this? And, just to let y'all know, I can say Indian. I got in trouble. They tried to shut me down at MGM because I did my 8th annual Sexy Indian party. They tried to shut me down because I said the word sexy Indian, and they said I was racist. And so, like, Robin Leach did this big story and stuff like that. Come to find out, thank you, Mama, for being a genealogist. I have 5 bloodlines of Native American.
She's just, whatever you do, don't use Washington Redskin. Then you're going to get in some real trouble.
Or the Chiefs.
Oh, the Chiefs, yeah.
Like, can't say sexy.